In this episode, Federica is going to show you how we came up with the design for a cob house and talk about the factors we had to keep in mind while planning. Sit back and enjoy. This is Earth and Above.
Right. Welcome to this episode where I'm going to explain to you how we designed the little house that we're building. I wrote down a couple of points that were really relevant during the process of designing the house, and those are the size, the shape, and the techniques that we'd be using. The size had to be something that would be achievable by two people. We also didn't have a huge plot of land. When we first arrived, we went to look and we found this flat area and we decided to build there. We had to kind of make do with what we had. So in the end, the house is going to measure about 5 square meters. We thought it would be a decent size for experimenting, and now we're realizing that not only it's a good size for experimenting, but it's still a lot of work. Secondly was the shape. The shape was decided because based on the fact that we wanted curved walls, but a circular floor plan would have been difficult because of the placement of the lintels. So in the end, as you can see here, this is the final shape that we came up with. It's sort of triangular and you don't see it as much on site, but when you enter it kind of just looks like a circle, but it does have these sort of sharper corners and 3 straighter sides where we're going to be placing doors and windows so that the lintels are not a problem. We don't have to find curved lintels to follow the shape of the house. Also, curved walls are really good for stability. The curved wall is harder to knock down than it is like a flat wall. The third thing that we took into consideration when deciding how to build a house was the availability of what we had on site. We decided cob because we figured right away that the soil was good for constructing cob. It's a good ratio between clay and sand. We straight away did some experimenting and we realized that it was good, so that's what we went for. Straw is not a problem because here they grow grains. And all the other material were present on site, such as the wood for the roof and the canes for the ceiling. Other ones that we could use were windows and doors that we found in abandoned places around here. Those are like available quite a lot. We had choice in the end, so that was really good. Other things that we took into consideration was the fact that ultimately this was an experiment, so we knew that we had to keep it quite basic, not do anything crazy, because with a small building, you know, it's a smaller commitment first of all, and also things like the structure are a bit easier. Here I'm going to show you this model that I made where I kind of like experimented with the shape a little bit. We decided to make it 2 floors, or like add a second floor, because doing some reading I realized that the foundations are the most work, and it would be a shame not to take advantage of the height that we could have, and so we decided to add a mezzanine on the top for sleeping, which is now kind of rotated 90 degrees from what you see in the model, and also just in the center of the house. That's what we're doing right now actually, and it looks quite good. Yeah. The placement of the windows that you see here is just ideas that I was putting down on this model. We decided almost everything on the spot, apart from this window here, which is still kind of here. This was placed in such a way that you could see the sunset from it, and it's really beautiful, I'm telling you right away. Other things that we had to think about when building the house was where to place the beams and how to build the roof. Here is another part of the model that I added. And still, I mean, it's changed a little bit, and then it changed again. So it's actually now is not that far off from what I modeled here. The beam in the center is a lot bigger, so we made sure not to put any openings beneath it, even though I don't think that's actually that important. From what I realized, I think it could have probably stood the weight. The walls are around 40 centimeters thick, not everywhere, like more or less. So they're good chunky walls, and they should be able to support the roof no problem. And I really wanted to do a cane roof, which I haven't modeled here actually. It's something that I saw in Sicily and I thought was really beautiful. So since there are canes available, we went for it, and we collected the canes and we dried them, and the house is going to have a beautiful cane ceiling. The door that you see here, let me show you, is not actually the door that we ended up using. We found another door that I think is a lot nicer, and it's smaller, fits better with the shape and the size of the house. It doesn't have any glass, which is also good, since there's going to be loads of other windows anyways. That's not a problem. And yeah. As you can see here in the model, I actually slanted the roof a little bit. I did that to save us from having to produce too much cob. But in the end, we decided not to do it because it would actually make things more complicated when actually working on the house. And we ended up just having a straight normal roof. I mean, not completely straight. I mean, like just in this direction. Yeah, I think I mentioned everything. Yeah, one more thing that I wanted to say before leaving you was I wanted to talk about the foundations and how we feel about the design choices that we made a year and a half ago. And I think we both feel pretty good with the initial design and how it developed as we built. The only things that I would mention are that cob is a lot of work, and that even though the soil is really good, loosening it is a big job in itself, and bringing up all the water that we need to build this cob is also a huge job, which we knew it would be, but I guess that means that probably cob as a natural building technique wasn't the best fit for the site. And I think that that's the most important thing. The site just tells you what it wants on it, and probably it wouldn't have been cob. There's a lot of really good wood. Wood would have probably been the material of choice for the site, and the design should have followed that. And also the absolute absence of rocks should have given us a hint not to build rock foundations. But being the stubborn person that I am, I really insisted on having a rock foundation. Also, we couldn't really find any other options since I didn't want to do like a tire foundation. I don't really like the way they look, and I didn't like the idea of bringing tires into the woods. So, I mean, we did it. We found the rocks, but it was a lot of work to bring all the rocks into the forest, because I swear to God, there's not a rock nowhere around. We took some of them from an abandoned building, you'll see. I don't think that what we designed is necessarily what the best thing for the site, the best thing that could have been there material-wise. But we're really happy with how it's coming along, and I think we both feel like it fulfills our vision, our initial vision for the little house that we're building. So we're both really happy. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to mention is the choices I made regarding the placement of the beams and the lintels, the sizes of the thicknesses of the diameter of the the beams. I worked in architecture, but I'm not an architect or an engineer, so the choices that I made with hands, and they were purely empirical, like, oh yeah, that looks thick enough to support that, or that doesn't look good enough, or we would read about, you know, how to make these choices kind of with common sense rather than technical experience. And yeah, so this is what we ended up coming up with, making all those choices that way. And so far, so good. We'll see once we put the roof structure. I think that's going to be the most decisive moment for the building. Now I've said everything that I wanted to say, and I really hope that you will keep on following us, and you will follow us in the next videos, all the cool things that we're going to do with the house, and there's a lot of cool things, I'm telling you. See you!
Thank you so much for watching our videos. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, show us by giving us a thumbs up, leaving a comment, or subscribing to our channel, Earth and Above. Show your support by sharing our videos with your friends and family. It means a lot to us. Until then, see you in the next episode.